Count of 4.
No.
3, 2, 1. Ascension.
What is up, guys? It's Cartman here, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer. Double beef on the Bujo. Got a few people to introduce you to. First off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard exclusively over on Spreaker.com/HWR Media and YouTube.com/HWR Show. He is the illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Star. Rick, how you shining?
I'm doing pretty good, Billy. Thanks for having me.
From YouTube.com/LanceMossTV, he is our resident music mogul. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
And from across the tracks, over on the hood on Instagib, he's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, what's up?
Mike Tenay got punked.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about Impact Wrestling for the week of August 8th, 2013. And, just following up with what Will just said, at the opening of the show, apparently Tazz not too happy over the fact that on last week's Impact Wrestling, which was sans me, by the way, because of personal reasons. And by the way, just very quickly on a side note, Will, I want to say thank you for taking the reins for me on last week's Impact review, man. I really do appreciate that.
You're welcome, anytime.
But anyway, Tazz stating that he wasn't happy over the fact that on last week's Impact Wrestling, that Hulk Hogan basically said, "You can't come in. You can't be on commentary this week," and had and sent his security guards to turn Tazz away. Well, Tazz turned around and pretty much just did the same thing to Mike Tenay. He had aces and eights with them, and they kind of punked Mike Tenay. So Mike Tenay was, out of there. Of course, Mike Tenay not very much for standing up for himself in a promo. But anyway, the aces and eights now come out, and Tazz gets to Jeremy Borash. Tazz and Ken Anderson get to Jeremy Borash on commentary. Now, we're trying to hear him bully, in a sense, Jeremy Borash on commentary, and Bully Ray is on the microphone talking at the exact same time that Tazz is trying to cut his little bit of a promo on the headset. And I think it got to the point where Tazz even just looked up and said, "You know what, dude? Let me talk." And that's when Tazz was able to get finished with what he had to do. And I could kind of tell right there that Tazz wasn't really happy with the fact that Bully Ray was talking at the exact same time he was on the microphone trying to cut his spiel with him and Jeremy Borash and Mike Tenay and what happened. But it then evolves into Bully Ray calling out Chris Sabin, and they try to get the contract signing together, and they do mention on commentary that that Hulk Hogan was not there. He was in Dallas, but he has sent an email to Brooke Hogan, who came out there, and what the special stipulation was in the steel cage match at Hardcore Justice is that if Bully Ray does not win the title, that Bully Ray will never again get a shot at the TNA heavyweight title. Now, Bully Ray starts to kind of back off from it, and then Brooke Hogan said, "You know what? I'm Bully Ray. I am not going to be bullied by Sabin, by you, or by a measly Hogan." Brooke Hogan then gets into the ring without tripping, thank God, so apparently she knows how to walk this week. Gets into the ring and says, "You know what, Mark? Don't make me have to tell everyone here what I already know about how you're all talk and very short on action." At that point, Bully Ray just grabs a contract out of her hand, signs it. Chris Sabin then signs it. So now it's official at Hardcore Justice in a steel cage match. Bully Ray and Chris Sabin for the TNA heavyweight title. And again, if Bully Ray does not win the title, then he will never again get a shot at the TNA heavyweight championship. I would assume as long as Chris Sabin is still champion. That's my assumption. But if I want to go ahead and give this a good opening, I would say I'm going to give it a solid 4. Despite Bully Ray, kind of messing up a bit, Bully Ray is kind of, he was trying to, kind of put focused on there. He's trying to get the fans' attention over there. I can understand, the point of it, but the fact of the matter is he talked a little bit too much. And I think when Tazz looked up and said, dude, let me talk, I could kind of tell that Tazz was just a little bit PO'd over the fact that Bully Ray was kind of botching up what he was trying to do out there. Then again, I could be wrong, but that's what it looked to me. But let's look to the opening match for Impact Wrestling this week. Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe, which was indeed a good match. I was very impressed. Really can't say anything bad about it other than the fact that commentary was kind of lacking a little bit, considering the fact, you had Tazz and Jeremy Borash, which was okay. Ken Anderson on commentary. Now, I can see Ken Anderson being a ring announcer. He's got a voice for it. Commentary, I don't think so. Just my opinion as a commentator, guys and gals. I really just don't see Ken Anderson being that good. He can project his voice when he's, introducing himself or somebody else. Being on commentary, Rick, I don't think he did a good job.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. It didn't seem like he was really even participating a lot. It didn't seem like that was his role. His role out there was not as a color commentator. His role is more like, I'm just going to be out there just bullying, and I'll stick my nose when I want to stick my nose in there. So I got to kind of disagree with you. I think he was not playing that third person throughout the entire show. So I think you're kind of giving him an unfair handshake on that one.
Well, be that as it may, the finish of the match came with Jeff Hardy hitting a jawjacker and then schoolboy Samoa Joe to get the pin. So Jeff Hardy gets the win in the Bound for Glory Series match and gets 7 points. Rick, I gotta ask you, your thoughts on this match between Hardy and Samoa Joe?
It wasn't a bad match.
Yeah, go ahead.
It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't a great match. There was no special spots. The spots were just the traditional spots. And out of a 5-star match, I'd have to give it a 3. It was just, a very bland match.
Well, up next we had Mr. Anderson, who apparently didn't have to walk very far to the ring since he was right there on the announce table, taking on the points leader in the Bound for Glory series, Magnus. Now, this was a good match, but one thing that kind of really made it interesting, Bobby Roode came out and attacked Mr. Anderson with a steel chair, which caused the disqualification. Now, Anderson gets the win, but doesn't get any points out of it. But instead, Magnus loses 10 points in the Bound for Glory series via disqualification. Now, of course, following the break, that Bobby Roode would go on to explain his actions, saying that he was going to go back to the ways that made him the it factor. He was going to be changing the rules of the Bound for Glory series, and then they followed up with the referee, which I believe was Brian Hebner, talking about the decision that he had to make. And Magnus appeared behind him and didn't fault Brian Hebner for the decision that he had to make. But, well, I got to figure, it was very, if you think about it, you give Magnus the huge lead, and then you pull something like this to take off 10 points, I guess, to probably make it, would you say, more manageable?
Manageable? How about screwed? I mean, Bobby Roode had a legit thing to say. I mean, everybody was focusing on the highest 2 people in the BFG series. Everybody was focused on the Aces and Eights main event Mafia thing, and then the whole 1 month whoop-de-fucking-do of 4 videos that I can take a crap for, and Tito Ortiz coming in. And I see where Bobby Roode is coming from. Everybody lost focus on the good wrestlers that are there in Bobby Roode and Christopher Daniels and Kazarian.
Well, you're jumping the gun quite a bit.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I've always been doing. But if you want to stop me, you could.
Yeah, but anyway, talk about Anderson and Magnus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that part. Uh, good match overall. Sorry if I jumped the gun, fans. um, good back and forth between both competitors. I mean, Magnus had offense, Mr. Anderson had some offense, so it was a back and forth, evenly fair match. And then what I just ranted, Billy's gonna have to reverse the roles here. I would have to give this one. I'll give it about a 2.75. I think the match could have stretched out even more.
The
How about
voices says that the DQ win gives a person 3 points.
So they did err somewhere.
wow? That mysterious voice sounded homeless. Anyway, backstage, Mickie James goes to talk with Bromance, Robbie E, and Jessie Goddardz, and we talk about guys that should have been cut. These two idiots are prime example. Mickie James talks about their big matchup, which should be later in the evening, which would be Cowboy, James Storm, Gunner, and ODB taking on Bromance and Mickie James. And she said, being the champion that she was going to share the spotlight in the match and let it trickle down the bro faces of Bromance, and Robbie E, without missing a beat, makes himself look stupid by saying, "What does trickle mean?" I really don't know what else to say about this, but you want to talk about a show coming to a screeching halt. It's the next segment in the ring, Tito Ortiz. Now, I didn't get a chance too much to voice my opinion last week because I wasn't even there about the appearance of Tito Ortiz in TNA. Now, they bring him out there with Jeremy Borash to kind of cut a promo. He gets interrupted by Kurt Angle. It says, you know what, as long as you're in TNA, I'll respect your space, but you better respect mine. And Bully Ray comes out and pretty much does the heel thing that he normally does, saying, do you know who I am? I'm Bully Ray, and I'm the guy that's going to go in that ring and smack the snot out of you. And, you say you respect each other? Well, I don't respect either of you. So that was pretty much just basically it. Tito Ortiz gave zero answers as it pertains to his reasons being there in TNA, which we already know about that. But again, Lance, if I gotta say, if one segment just brought the show to a screeching halt, it was this one right here.
Yeah, this would be the emergency break of the show, because it's just brought to a screeching halt. I mean,
well, let's give it a proper comparison. This segment right here is about as pointless, lame, and dumb as Mark Henry and Ryback from Monday Night Raw.
I'd go more along the lines of the Total Divas part of, because that's a little more pointless to me.
What about the summer camp?
Yeah, there we go.
But anyway, back to this segment. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Why? That's basically my thought. Why? They kind of come up with something better. I mean, we all know why he's there, and it's not to wrestle. It's to promote another company on this station. Anyway.
Your score?
2.
Up next is the six-person mixed tag match. Cowboy, James Storm, Gunner, and ODB to take on Bromance and Mickie James. Now, not very often I say this, but I actually enjoyed this. Couple of key things to note. We only really saw action out of the knockouts with Mickie James coming up to jump on the back of Gunner when he had, I believe it was Jessie Goddardz up in the gun rack is what he calls it, the human torture rack, his version of it, and Mickie James jumps on the shoulders, and then ODB gets her off, and chases her onto the outside, and then it looked like they were gonna. It looked like they were gonna set up Gunner for like some sort of big double team move, bromance for her, until Cowboy James Storm came in the ring and just super kicked the hell out of Robbie E. I mean, the kick went right on the side of the head, almost the ear, and that was like a brutal finish. But um, I think I believe it was Gunner with the gun rack on Jesse Goddardz that got the victory for his team. And I gotta say this though, I truly enjoyed it. And you want to talk about one of the more vicious super kicks I have ever seen in wrestling, Rick? You gotta figure what James Storm just what did tonight against Robbie E across the side of his skull with that kick. That had me turning around, kind of cringing almost when I saw that.
Yeah, that was a nasty kick. Whether that was a planned kick or a set a kick, not sure, a botch. You never know. Either way, it was a great spot for the fans, at least. Not sure it was a spot for Robbie E, but you know what? Robbie E sucks, so who really cares?
Yep, definitely. If I were to score this match, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was very entertaining. I would have liked to have seen more action out of the knockouts, but be that as it may, it was still a good match, a good spot right there with James Storm and Robbie. Good finish. Can't really say nothing bad about it. Up next, though, in a Bound for Glory series match, Tazz and Daniels. Yes, Bad Influence going at each other for the Bound for Glory series points. Now, here's something. Here are a few things to make note of in this match, ladies and gentlemen. Is the fact that both Tazz and Daniels did not come out to Bad Influence entrance music. They came out to their singles music. Tazz came out to his, and Daniels came out to the Fallen Angels music. Now, it looked like they were going to they started going at each other, and then they pulled what I had to believe, Rick, would have to be the Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash finger poke of doom.
Oh, God, wasn't it? And that's exactly what I said. I'm like, here comes the finger poke. But, at least it didn't go for at least without a better cause. I think this is actually much, much better played out. Because, here comes Bobby Roode, and I'm like, okay, who's he going to hit? What's he going to do? He's going to get pissed. And then they're like, okay, you know what? We're joining together as a force. And we're going to take over the BFG series, and one of us is going to win. And I'm sorry, but I know what's going to happen. I think, we know somewhere down the line that Bobby Roode's going to turn on both of them, and he's going to take, because sooner or later, one person has to win. It's every man for himself, whether you like it or not. I think it's just to make the BFG series a little bit more interesting. And it worked.
Your score?
For that segment, and the match itself was not great. The whole segment, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'll even go to a 4 because I liked it.
Up next, the main event of the evening, the reuniting of Team 3D in a match. That's Bully Ray and Devon take on Chris Sabin and a mystery partner from the Main Event Mafia. Now, when they first walked out, Chris Sabin was accompanied by Sting, but was Sting his actual partner?
That's what we all thought, but no, it came out to be the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. And this match was very, very good. A lot of offense on every superstar wrestler there. Chris Sabin got a lot of offense in top rope. Bully Ray with his power game, until the table came in. And
well, don't forget to make mention over the fact that we got to see the 3D for the first time in about a few years.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen that in quite some time. You're right about that. And basically, what happened at the end was just an old simple splash off the top rope on Chris Sabin to Bully Ray for the 1, 2, 3, and your winners, Sabin and Angle.
Right.
And the match, I'll give solid 3. Hey, I can't argue. This was one of the better matches.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to find out everyone's picks for best and worst match or segment of Impact Wrestling this week. You know, the champions and the jobbers of the night. Now, if I want to pick a best match, I really got to give it to actually, you know, Chris Sabin, Kurt Angle, and Team 3D. I thought it was a really good match, but a matchup that I was a little bit more into than that one. Honestly, it was Cowboy, James Storm, Gunner, and ODB taking on Bromance and Mickie James. Despite the fact I made fun of Bromance, and every time they come on Impact Wrestling, I'm gonna make fun of them regardless. It was still, for some reason, a matchup I was just more into, and especially that spot with James Storm and super kicking the crap out of Robbie E in the side of the skull. I gotta thought that was like one of the more vicious spots I've seen from TNA. So I gotta give it to the 6-man tag. And as far as worst match or segment, I gotta say. I have to go worst segment, and that's the Tito Ortiz segment because it made absolutely freaking no sense whatsoever. None whatsoever to have Tito Ortiz out there, and there's no point. I still don't understand right now why Spike is basically promoting Bellator MMA over Impact Wrestling. You know, MMA, Bellator and MMA, you know, they have their own fan base, but keep it on your own product. Don't cross promote it on another product such as TNA Wrestling. To me, I think that's just wrong. But you know, the promo went nowhere. The promo went nowhere, made no sense, you know. So I got to go with worst segment of the night was Tito Ortiz coming out and with Kurt, you know, Kurt Angle and Bully Ray, I think did their best to try to help carry it because apparently Ortiz can't talk worth a damn in a promo. But storyline wise, I just don't see the point. I don't understand the point, and I don't think I ever will. That's why I gotta go worst segment of the night. It's the Tito Ortiz segment. Rick, let's go over to you next and find out your picks for best and worst match or segment of TNA Impact Wrestling this week. Rick, your picks for champions and jobbers of the night.
Um, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have to give the best segment. I'll give it to the Bobby Roode and and Bad Influence, and that's usually for me that's a rarity because I'm not really a big fan of Bad Influence, but I think they kind of shined a little bit. That was a good segment. The matches tonight weren't bad, but there was nothing that really shined or stood out for me. That's just my thoughts, and of course the jobber of the night, yeah, Tito Ortiz. He's just the guy, and I'm gonna say this, that Bellator is a Spike product, as is TNA. And it would be and we talked about this last night on our show with Joseph Knight. He was on there, and he said there would be nothing wrong if Bellator would do the same thing and cross promote, but they're not doing it. Bellator is getting the bigger side of the promotion, and TNA is kind of like just getting like, huh, what? And that's the problem. So. TNA was trying to do the right thing by going out and advertising. They were trying to go out and venturing, and it was the right idea. They just got the bad result, the wrong result.
All right, cool. Well, let's go over to Will next and find out his picks for best and worst match or segment of Impact Wrestling this week. Will, your thoughts for champions and jobbers of the night?
All right, my champions would have to be the 6-man tag match with the Cowboy, the Viking, and the tipsy drinking ODB. That match, unbelievable. I think it's best match of the night, to be honest. And it was a mixed tag. Worst, I'm sorry. Like you and Rick said, Kazarian and Daniels, the Hulk Hogan finger poke of doom / kill me right now. I thought that was the worst of all. Yeah, we were all set up for that. And I agree with you again, Billy. The Tito Ortiz thing just drowned my face in the toilet. It's lost it. TNA has really, repun themselves to with these little promotions.
And finally, let's go over to Lance Moss and find out his picks for best and worst match or segment of Impact Wrestling this week. Lance, your picks for champions and jobbers of the night?
Champion, I gotta go with Joe Hardy. Jobbers, kind of a co-jobber here. The whole Ortiz segment, and also the referee in the Anderson Magnus match for being like a week late and ringing the bell after Anderson got hit with the chair.
All right, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week. What are some of your thoughts on the show? What was the best match or segment in your opinion, and what was the worst match or segment on your opinion? And starting next week, ladies and gentlemen, at the onset of the reviews, we will address each comment from the previous week's review. We'll pick two or three of the best comments from each review, and we'll address it on the following one. So, if you guys want to make your comments known, make them known right here on this video on next week's Impact review. At the beginning of it, we will announce the two comments and talk a little bit about it before we get to the review. So be sure you guys, if you want to do that, be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Rick, where can fans check you out on HWR? Rick, microphone.
Oh, shit, sorry. Of course, they can always find me over my Facebook page at facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And if you ever want to listen to any of our shows, head on over to Spreaker.com/HWR Media. And don't forget, fans, this coming Wednesday, Axel Rotten, the hardcore wrestling legend, returns to HWR on that's August 14th, 2013. Don't forget to miss it.
Also, fans,
don't forget to miss it.
Don't miss it. Yeah, edit that out.
Also, fans, if you have any questions for Axel Rotten, be sure to check out Facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio and submit your questions for Axel Rotten to the Facebook page, and we'll be sure to read them as much as we can. And when he's not kidnapping James from the Big Easy and the Houdat Temple and making him dress up as Oksana and taking weird, unrealistic pictures of him, Bay Area MVP, known as Will, is over on the hood on Instagram. Will, what you got coming up?
What's coming up? Let's see.
Besides your lunch.
Really nothing planned for the moment, just to help out HWR and WGS-TV like I always do. Show work, do work, and make our pages proud.
Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, wrestling reviews, NASCAR reviews, and whatever else pops into my head.
Fans, also don't forget to like the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WGS-TV, and also don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZepThanksTV Network. So for the Illuminous one, the Shining Star, Rick Starr, the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, and the Bay Area MVP known as Will, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching.
Today's WGS-TV has been sponsored by a South Carolina man. A weird news: South Carolina man arrested for smearing buttered toast on an SUV. He was released on jail from bond, and the damage to the SUV is estimated at $1.
Buttered toast.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Spiritual speaking. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. I'm Haley. Ring Rose. Stone Cold.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual speaking. Stoke Countout.